What up, FIFA Tears, and welcome to the Free Foot Tears podcast. I am Mersgoth, and today we have an additional person on the podcast. So we have Brad and Luke, as usual, when it comes to the podcast, but today we have a special guest, the foot coach, also known as Steve Stokes, who is a member of the Footballers podcast, who I was a guest on their podcast a couple weeks ago. So hopefully you'll be familiar with them when I said about them and given links to the podcast and stuff. So Steve, how are you doing? Luke, Brad, how are you all doing?
I'll let you go first, Steve, because you're the guest.
Mm-hmm. Very kind of you. I don't get afforded this kind of hospitality on the Footballers podcast, I'll say that. It's just good to hear some different voices, guys. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's good to be out from under the feet of the usual suspects, and the change is as good as a rest, they say, don't they? So
they do.
There we go.
Less held down by the authority.
Exactly. That said, who wants to be arrested? So I don't know.
Yeah, you get more free reign over here, mate. More free reign.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say that's not going to be a good thing.
Most people say that when I have to say something.
Yeah. Do you want to tell our viewers a bit more about yourself, like what you do, like individually, beyond like the Footballers podcasts and stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my day job is operating as a actual FIFA coach. I teach people how to play the game. I work with pro players. I run a Patreon called the Foot Academy. Early plug, patreon.com/Foot Academy, where we just explore ways to make people better at the game, to enable them to enjoy it a bit more, different custom tactics, tutorials, that kind of thing. And yeah, I'm an all-round sort of FIFA anorak, really, I suppose.
And there's me writing down your details to get in contact with how I can get elite and rank 1.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed. I don't know with Brad.
No, he's actually been doing well recently.
I'm Div 2 now. I'm Div 2.
Div 2.
Weather's life is hot.
But first topic, do you want to cover that, Brad?
Yeah. So obviously it is another new promo. So despite us talking about what we thought was very likely to be foot freeze based on what the leaks we had seen, they decided. Now I'm going to say, I don't think they decided to change it. This may well have been in the making all the time, but they've changed foot freeze for it to be a foot versus promo, and essentially we have got the fire and ice, or as some people still refer to them, freeze cards, against each other. And there's a lot of good cards, and I think there's only one player that was in the prediction that wasn't in there. I think we said Alejandro Gomez was leaked, and he isn't actually
Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez.
I think it was Joe Gomez. Yeah. So he hasn't actually come out as a card. Who knows whether he'll end up being an SBC? As we're seeing loads come out at the moment anyway. But generally, I'm just going to have a look through and sort of bring up the best ones at the moment and just go through what the difference in the cards is, because tonight, as we are recording this, the ice cards have only just now come out, so some of these guys actually may not have even seen the differences in the fire and ice cards anyway. So we've got Valverde is my first one on there. So his card has changed from 4-star to 3-star skill moves and a 5-star weak foot. And the statistic that has changed on him, instead of his 84 defense, he now has 80 defense, but his passing got upgraded by 4 to 86 from 82. So yeah, the extra weak foot, the extra passing probably makes more sense for him as a centre mid. But I'll let you guys weigh in on that in a moment. Koundé, no weak foot or skill moves upgrade for him. He has had an increase in his physical by 5 and a downgrade in his dribbling by 6 from 82 to 76. All the rest of his stats remain the same. Correa, a player that I personally packed untradeable, is still 4-star. He is gone from 88 pace up to 91 pace, and they have taken his shooting down from 89 to 86, so he's been given that little bit more pace but actually less shooting. The next card I've got on here is Joe Gomez, as we mentioned. He has gone to 89 defense over his 87, but down from 84 physical to 82. Again, no changes in his skill moves or weak foot for him. Adama Traore, really surprised at this one. I thought for sure the thing to do with Adama is to give him that weak foot upgrade. He's screaming out for it with his 2-star weak foot, but he hasn't. Again, 4-star skill moves, 2-star weak foot, still the same. He's gone from 86 passing down to 76 passing, but his shooting is the main one. It's gone from 75 to 83. It currently puts his ice card, roughly at double the price of the fire card at the moment, although, like I say, they have only just come out. Marcus Rashford, no change in him. Skill moves and weak foot, 5-star, 3-star. And has gone from 87 dribbling, down from 90 dribbling to 87 dribbling, and they've given him a physical boost of 3. I'm not sure it necessarily matters, especially if you're playing a winger for him, but if you're going to like change him in game to a forward, then maybe that does help a little bit more. Gabriel Jesus, the marquee player of the promo, the most expensive player, he has gone from 5-star skill moves, 3-star weak foot to 4-star, 4-star. And he has gone down from 93 pace to 89 pace, up from 87 shooting to 91 shooting. So lost a bit of pace, but increased his shooting, and has gone 4-star, 4-star. So we lose his 5-star skill moves, which a lot of people will be disappointed with. I know that was a lot of information to take in, but just based on some of them, what do you guys think? Steve, do you want to say what you think about those so far?
Yeah, sure. I'll begin by saying that this is a promo that I really do not understand. I'm not sure that anybody necessarily does. It's a bit of what they call in the army a hashmagandhi, which is where you basically have all the leftovers from this, that and the other. You throw them all in a big pot, and what you've got at the end of it is a hashmagandhi, and that's what it is. We were leaked. I talked about this in the Footballers pod, but we were leaked this idea that it was going to be all about players getting weak foot upgrades, skill moves upgrades, and obviously some have, and that's great, that's awesome. The Pulisic is the Gabriel Jesus to an extent, but I mean let's take this Jesus card as an example, okay?
Yep.
It's it just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. The fire card with the 93 pace, 87 shooting. It's a nice card. It's decent. It's good. It's well rounded. Okay, it's only got the you see, this is how confused I am. It's got the 5-star skills.
Yes.
And the 3-star weak foot. That's actually selling for what have we
1.2 mil.
Yeah, and it's PlayStation and Xbox are a little bit confused here. It's the freeze, I nearly called it. The ice version is selling for almost 2 million on Xbox right now, and the fire version with the 5-star skills is 1 million.
Yeah,
I don't get it. The market seems confused. People seem confused. EA have done nothing whatsoever to try and clarify it. I think they put something on the website where frequently asked questions was certainly not the most frequently asked questions, which is, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, but it's what the frick is going on with this promo. They haven't answered that. And yeah, I don't get it. It's a bit of a mess. Sorry to be so negative to open up, but
no. I mean, most of it.
We're
at the end of the day, we're talking about FIFA, so most of it is negative.
Well, there we go.
To be fair, in terms of your regards to the 2 mil at the moment, that's because it's only been out for a few hours. I'm sure it will probably settle down to a price that might be similar to the Fire version. Now, what I suggested would have been a better idea, maybe with this promo, is release both the teams at the same time, but rather than you pack like one version of it, you pack a player pick of, like, it says the player that you've got, and then you open it up and it gives you the Fire version, the Ice version to choose from, and you choose which version you actually want to go for. Because I think that is the whole point of this promo, is meant to be versus, right? So it's like, which one do you think is the better version?
Yeah,
and I think a player pick
want.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a player pick would have been nice for that. Now, Luke, because I said this whilst I was streaming, Luke was like, but then surely that might affect the prices, because obviously if you pack it and you don't necessarily want that card, you're going to pick the one that's more value. But I would say that's a supply and demand situation, because what will happen is, yes, everyone might go for the more expensive version, but what will happen is if too many people do that, that brings the price down, so it will balance the price out for both versions, I would feel, because what happens is the rarer one would be more expensive, more valued than what it should realistically sell for, and then the one that everyone goes for becomes cheaper because everyone's picking that version. But I think it's it's rule breakers 2.0, so like the Nkunku SBC.
Yeah, it's another recycled promo, isn't it?
Essentially.
And let's be honest, this is designed to shift packs. It's not here to enhance our experience as FIFA players, is it? You know what promos are. It's here to shift packs. The back of my mind, I think they might have fucked it up, to be honest with you, and they perhaps haven't been able to correct it, because
probably
I don't know, something's wrong with it. It doesn't make sense. There's no consistency. There's no rhyme or reason.
No.
Well, for me, the thing I've picked up on is all the ones on the market have all got +3s or +2s to those stats. If you look at the SBCs, they're the ones that actually, or the SBCs or the objectives, have slightly more significant upgrades. Take Pulisic for an example. Pulisic, let me just grab him. His ice version's got 75 shooting, 87 passing. His fire version's got 83 shooting, 78 passing. Those are significant differences. 87 to 78 passing is drastic. And then, 7 between the shooting? 8 between the shooting. All the ones on the market seem to be 3s and minor things.
3s and 4s, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like you'll see 4s on like Mertens, but obviously he's got some... he's still staying 4-star, 4-star as well. With Pulisic, it was 5-star, 4-star, or 4-star, 5-star.
Yeah. And this is the...
They seem to have held
off
on the market,
thing, isn't it? This is the thing that has confused it the most. Like, why are we doing it with some and why not with others?
Yeah.
And why, like show some consistency. It almost like commit to your promo and say this is what it's going to be. We're going to decide. We're going to let you decide whether you prefer weak foot or skill moves, and give you a choice. And then with your weak foot guy, we're going to give him that little bit extra pace. But with your skill moves guy, we're going to give him that little bit extra shooting or something like that, you know. And so you give him a little bit of a boost of stat, but you are making people decide, oh yeah, I want this weak foot skill moves card. Not, oh hang on, this guy hasn't got a change. Oh, this one has. Oh, I can go and do this SBC and I'm going to pick between these. Like, it does seem like it's just an absolute mishmash, or what Steve referred to it to was probably a lot better.
What is it? What is this promo? I mean, normally there's some sort of indication as to what the promo, where they're hanging the hat, you know, what it's based on.
Yeah.
There's been none of that with this promo. It just seems that it's basically like rule breakers. I think somebody said rule breakers, where you're boosting some stat categories, not others. And you're just going to throw in a random weak foot skill moves upgrade here and there, and it's just it's kind of it basically encapsulates everything about the way that EA have handled content, have handled the game really in FIFA 22. It's just, it makes no sense. It's you couldn't have possibly have predicted what it would actually be based on what we heard about it beforehand.
No,
it's just, I don't know. It's not for me, Clive.
I get that. But
do you think
go on. The thing is, like, rule breakers at least had some significant differences. Like, certain ones got drastic pace boost, etc. Certain ones got drastic other things. This is just minor stuff. And another one that really annoys me is Valverde. Valverde doesn't make sense to me, because he's one of the ones that actually does have sort of skill moves and weak foot changes. But the more defensive versions, the one that's got the sort of the 4-star, 4-star, whilst the more offensive version's got 5-star weak foot, 3-star skills, and you'd surely want that the other way around. You'd want the skills on your more offensive player. Yeah. And it's things like that that just make this even more confusing. Because surely, if you want an out-and-out attacking or not attacking, but more box-to-box version of Valverde, you'd want him to be able to then go in, do some skills, etc., help you play in that way. If you want a more defensive player, more CDM, give them the weak foot, and then the free. They've got that almost the wrong way round.
Yeah, because that's the one who's distributing the ball out rather than trying to skill around in a CDM position.
Social experiment, chaps. They're throwing any old crap out there on a Friday just to see if we'll buy FIFA points, open the packs, and you know.
Well, and this is the thing we've noticed, though, isn't it? They are struggling to sell like they are struggling to sell out their lightning rounds and things, and I think it's because people have cottoned on a little bit more now that they're just not buying into it.
Yeah.
They're just not buying it.
Saturation as well. There are so many.
Yeah.
This week, I don't know how many it started with, but just literally just now, 100k packs, there was 40,000 left. I don't know how many it started with.
It's
but
insane,
with
isn't it?
4 minutes left, there was 40,000.
Crazy.
It is insane. And guys, really, like with this, what we would say is like, I'd be looking at this promo like, if you pack one untradeable, you pack one untradeable. But most people now would have a choice right now to be either saving their packs for Team of the Year, or opening some because this is a brand new shiny promo. Now, I did get carried away and opened these for a brand new shiny promo. I was fortunate. Okay, I got Correa and I got Ronaldo, but that is like the first time I've packed him, Ronaldo, ever since having the game. If I actually now seeing what this promo is like and seeing how sort of the lack of direction of it and how average it is compared to like what the promo could have been like. Again, it's like numbers up all over again. I feel like, you know, there's a potential here, but they didn't quite reach it because I don't know, that the time that they were meant to finish deciding what this promo is about, lunch bell rang and they all went out. And so I think in that case, if I was now deciding, I still sat there with like 20-30 packs, I would be saving them for Team of the Year.
And of course, the other thing, sorry to butt in there, but the other thing as well is that, I mean, there is one definite screw up here in that originally it was advertised that the fire team goes out of packs on Monday.
Yeah, and
it hasn't.
I've just seen people or someone pack the two versions of Pereira in the same pack.
If you're trying to get good at trading, as EA suggested we all should last year, then I, for instance, bought a Marcus Rashford at about 5 o'clock this evening, thinking, well, you know, he's going out of packs at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Fortunately, I got him for about 500k and managed to offload him for 600 anyway. But they can't do that. It's not on, you know. It's affecting things, and those mistakes just shouldn't be made. That's pretty basic. That's fundamental stuff, right?
Yeah, and given that it seems like this is their last kind of full hurrah on FIFA as we know it, given that the game has to change next year, given the loss of their rights and things like that. Yeah, it is just shocking, and I think this and numbers up, like they needed to really look at these promos and either not mess with what wasn't already broken. Everyone has loved Footmas, even when it changed to freeze. I've loved that promo every year. So don't mess with something that's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, EA. And there's plenty in your game that is broken that need fixing. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, talking about content, we've got some future content coming our way with icon swaps, which will be a very interesting thing. Don't know when it's exactly going to drop, but also we've had the Prime icons essentially added to the coding, so they're ready to be packed once they're activated by EA, which I'm guessing is going to be in the new season. So I don't know if there's an exact date for when they go live, but we know that Prime icons go live in December based off of previous years. So we've also had the base or mid icon SBC added, so now people are able to get hold of some mid icons. So most likely still get the baby version in that sort of situation, because most of the time you're getting the cheaper version when it comes to those sort of SBCs. But I've got a list here of the icon packs that are going to be in icon swap. So to go through it, so you're going to have one mid icon player pack, a go down, a mid or prime icon pack. So that would be quite an interesting one. I wonder how many tokens that would be, because this is the thing, it doesn't say how many tokens they are going to be, just saying what is being added to the coding. A 89 plus mid icon, so gets rid of some of maybe the bad ones, but you still will have some bad ones in amongst that. Then you've got another mid, no, that is mid icon, base or mid icon pack. So there's 4 different packs there by the looks of things. Problem is it says the code like multiple times, so I don't know if I've missed any there, but it looks like there's 4 icon packs in Icon Swaps when it gets released. Luke, you gave a list of the icons that were going to be, or rumoured that are going to be in Icon Swaps. I can't remember. I know you said the big one was Rooney, which is like 17
Rooney,
tokens.
Is the top one. I don't have the list in front of me, but I'm trying to remember them off.
Zambrotta was one of them.
Prime Zambrotta at that.
Yeah.
You've got
base.
I've got it here, guys. If you,
You got it there.
6 swaps for mid Casillas, 7 for mid Ferdinand, 9 for Prime Overmars, 11 for mid Desailly, 12 for Baby Del Piero, 14 for Prime Zambrotta, and 17 for mid Rooney.
Good to know. I don't know the specific numbers behind it, even on my one.
Yeah. The only thing that isn't revealed yet is going to be the player packs that are there, because we know from previous years you get like these 81 times 25 or 85 times 15 or something like that. So we're going to get those. For me, I'm going to do all those packs because my club struggles to get hold of fodder this year, mainly because of how they ruined Div Rival rewards for myself. That's the biggest bugbear that I've had this year, is the fact that every week you only get like 1 or 2 packs from Div Rivals, as opposed to like 8, maybe 10 packs that you got like last year, and you pretty much would get, if you went untradeable, you virtually get maybe a walkout. Like, not great walkout, but you might get like a Modric or a Cruz or something like that you could happily put into an SBC. But obviously, that's the key part for me, is icon swaps and getting hold of something like that, so I can get fodder, so I can maybe do some of these like player SBCs that I keep seeing. Like, I forgot to do PK, but there's been plenty of player SBCs this year that I have had to turn down because I just haven't had the players in my club. Like that Mecca, the Wolfsburg German striker, I wanted to do him, but I was like, I can't afford to spend like my fodder for someone that I would happily have in my club for series. This mainly for the series rather than necessarily using for my team, because there's like, it's good to have stockpile of these special cards for like when it comes to doing squad for budget builder, face off, foot eliminate, and heated head to head. But so many I've had to turn down. But you guys, what are you thinking about swaps? Mate, are you like, what is your aim to be? Are you going to go for the icon packs, the player packs, the actual icons? What are you aiming to do? Steve?
There you go again, Steve.
Oh, well, yeah, just to hop in briefly and say, I know you're a busy guy, Mers. I know that you've got, your finger on the pulse of many things. I'm a duck quack who seems to be the source of all great foot knowledge at the minute, is claiming that for 2 tokens you'll get 2581 pluses, for 3 tokens you'll get 2582 pluses, and for 5 tokens you'll get 2583 pluses. So if that's to be believed, and Doug's normally pretty reliable with that sort of thing. That's people, as you say, people are going to be drawn to that sort of thing. I think doing some quick basic maths, you could probably get the 2583 pluses and mid Ferdinand if you ground out pretty much all of them. So I think that's probably the way I'd go. But I'd also be tempted by Prime Zambrotta because I used him last year, and as a centre back, if you want to get into your game plans and get a bit creative, if you can move Prime Zambrotta to centre back, you're going to have an end game centre back there. So you're probably going to have to go into the second round of icon swaps to get him. You're going to have a bit of patience. But I'd definitely shout out to Zambrotta if you are the patient type. If you can either have 2 donuts right now, or you can wait a little while and you can have 4.
It's true. I did have the moment Zambrotta from his Icon SBC last year, so I assume it's not going to be too far different, but I did very much enjoy that card. Yeah, either at right back or centre back.
Great card.
So I can definitely vouch for that card being very good. Although, there's a fair point. There's so many. You knew these cards, these packs are going to be here. I think that's probably the main route I'm going to go. I don't think I will go for the Zambrotta, despite that I have multiple accounts, so I can go on one account if I feel Zambrotta's what that account needs.
You know that's against terms
or
of
if I need
service.
fodder.
Right.
Never, no.
Come on,
What do you
boys.
mean?
What kind
They're
of
on
podcast?
separate. They're on separate consoles. It's fine.
What kind of pirate show is this?
Forget about it. They're on separate consoles. One's Xbox, one's PlayStation. It's all good.
Okay.
But yeah, that's sort of the main plan. I think one account go purely for sort of fodder packs, that being the main one, and then on the alternate account, maybe go for some more of the spectacular with some icon packs specifically, just as a little showcase of what not to do probably.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally, I'm always choosing packs, mainly because there's not any icon there that I feel like. I mean, obviously, I need to now change my thought process here and listen to Steve more because he seems to be the guru. But there's none of them that scream out to me that I want them in my team at the moment. That would replace my players. I'm happy with how my team plays, and I don't like messing around too much with it, especially when it comes to an untradeable, because I feel like you've committed to that player and you kind of have to then go with them. Whereas I do like opening a 25, 83 plus pack. Gets me excited. Gets me to think that, like, I mean, last year I think right at the end I called it that I was hoping that Mbappe was behind my face card, and he was, and I was so happy to see that guy's face because he would fit perfectly in my team. That yeah, I think that buzz for that, and knowing that it's a grindable pack and I haven't had to give EA my money, I get more out of that than I would out of saving my tokens for an untradeable icon.
You're at the FIFA casino with free chips, right? What's not to love
Basically,
about that?
yeah, exactly.
Well, like I say, I'm just going to literally go for the packs for the fodder, because I want fodder so that I can do player SBCs and stuff, because there's going to be a player of the month or something like that comes out, and I'm like, I want to do that, and I want the fodder, and I'll probably go for whatever icon pack is within my token range. So
Okay.
if it is a case of I've got like 7 tokens left over and it happens to be the mid icon pack or something like that I can get for 7, then I'll go for that basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously it will be, we roughly know what the requirements are going to be as well to do the tokens, because it's basically the same every year. So you're going to need like a silver squad, a Brazil squad, because that's been confirmed as well actually, is that you need a silver squad,
Argentina,
a Brazil, yeah, basically, and then you'll need like a team with an X number of first owner like
players,
Prem, like La Liga, Liga and stuff like that, the main leagues, and they split up between the two, first batch and second batch. So it will be nice, because to be fair, I think we all need something to truly grind for as well at the moment, because yes, there's the squad foundations, but I think a lot of people are probably already grinded those out now. A lot of people are getting bored of the game as well, so it kind of adds that little bit of a lifeline, especially as we're getting nearer to Christmas, where we're going to have a fresh import of like players as well. Because I think that's the other thing with FIFA 22, is a lot of people have found it very boring very quickly in comparison to like previous years. So I think icon swaps will help get maybe some of those people back.
Isn't it? It's another thing with leaks, though, isn't it? That
Oh yeah.
wouldn't it
talked
be
about
so
this in the
much
last
more
one.
fun that we didn't know what they were, and you're
Yeah.
tuning in.
Yeah.
You're opening the game. I'm now turning on the game at 6 o'clock each night to see how accurate the leakers are, not to see
Yeah.
what the content is.
Yeah,
you know?
that's it. Yeah.
And
That's fair.
that gets old quick, doesn't it?
It does, and that's exactly what we alluded to last week when talking about this promo, which obviously has now become FUT Versus. We had literally every single player, and the only player we got wrong was because they got the wrong Gomez. I mean, come on now.
You got 2 wrong. You said the wrong
Correa.
You said the wrong Correa as well.
Yes,
and
it was
the
gonna be
wrong
Yaki.
Correa. There you go.
Yeah.
So, so then so it's just how it is. Like it's gotten to that point where it is a little bit boring now. We're finding out everything before we want to, and so like you say, we're just logging in to check them, open those packs that we've saved up for one of those cards, even though this promo and other promos are lackluster. And yeah, and now swaps will come around for people to grind, and the only really interesting thing about that, I suppose, is the choice, isn't it? It's the whether you want to grind for that particular icon because, say, you're a Man U supporter and you like Rooney, or you've got affiliations to those sort of players, or you're just someone who wants to get high players for packs for fodder, or try and pack Ronaldo or Mbappe or Neymar, and get it for free rather than pumping your money.
You glory hunters, I'm living for the day where we get an icon, Niall Quinn or Kevin Phillips.
I mean, if we're talking on that front, I'm the guy that uses Andre Silva week in, week out. So I mean, that's
right, okay.
That's what keeps me going. So I'm all on that front.
Fair enough.
In which, moving on to sort of talking about real players, there's real draws happening for the Europa League, Champions League, and the Conference League, which have been drawn today with some controversy.
Just some.
Just some,
Yeah.
Sports and controversy go hand in hand at the moment. But in this case, seeing Andre Arshavin pull out the only name that couldn't be drawn out pretty much in that situation was Comedy Gold. And that then caused a redraw because Man United weren't in the correct pot for when Atletico Madrid got picked out. So the actual valid draws now that are happening is PSG face Real Madrid. So that is a return to Spain for Messi against his famous rivals.
Yeah.
RB Salzburg versus Bayern Munich, which that's
big
just
game.
the absolute. That'd be big, but mainly probably scoreline in that sense. Chelsea versus Lille happened twice as well. The fact that it came out twice. I know Chelsea could only draw, I think, 3 teams, maybe 4 teams.
Yeah.
But to get the same one twice is pretty fortunate when it's the nicest one.
Mm-hmm.
Sporting play Man City. Inter Milan versus Liverpool could be a game of the round.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see the sort of champions of Italy try and do what they can, but I don't see that ending well.
No.
And then Villarreal travel to Juventus eventually. So that's not quite. Apart from the PSG Real Madrid game, not too many sort of heavy hitting ones. I've missed out the I think the Atletico Madrid game in there as well. Actually, that one's fairly heavy hitting, and Benfica Ajax, which you'd expect Ajax to breeze through that with the form they've shown. But obviously, it's football. It can absolutely change in an instant. So,
but I mean, let's first, before we talk about like the potential games, let's talk about FIFA doing an EA, right there, or the draw. Like, the one thing that they have to get right gets messed up. Like you say, shortly after, there's been some controversy in the F1, and you do just wonder, like, what's happening to people at the moment? Is everyone's just fingers just off the pulse? Are people just like not paying attention to detail anymore? Like, what is going on? Like, these guys have one job.
The world is in chaos. That's what it is.
yeah.
So basically, we're blaming the right mid for Porto for everything.
I think Einstein.
No, it's fine. Everyone's just having cheese and wine, and it's fine. They're just having parties behind our backs, and they don't know.
Einstein said you should never underestimate 2 things, and those were the vastness of the universe and the vastness of human stupidity. So,
yes.
Who will argue with that?
Very valid.
Yeah, this
exactly.
is true. It's crazy. And also, I was thinking, I saw a tweet, and it was a joke tweet, I think, but it kind of did raise a few points. What about those that when they saw the first draw started booking flights?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're doing it that quick, then
serious.
damn.
Well, some people will.
Yeah. Some people will. You're not wrong.
And it's like, so where do we stand now, or where do people stand with companies if they've already purchased that ticket and now they've suddenly got to go and buy a ticket somewhere else, and who's going to refund them? Eat what? FIFA?
Eat the rich.
Transfer.
Normally, you'd be able to get refunds. To be fair, at this stage, normally it's if it's on the day or something like that. Yeah, within a set period.
The only people would be happy with that is Chelsea fans. They wouldn't have to change plans. They're all good.
Exactly.
Chelsea fans can keep their bookings.
Or Lille fans.
Yeah.
Or even like the teams that they've come up against, because some had easier opposition, and then suddenly they get tougher opposition.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Like I think
Salzburg. Who was Salzburg against?
who
before?
had
Was that
PSG
Liverpool?
originally?
Man United had PSG originally.
Yeah,
It was
there
going
you
to be
go.
Messi
So
versus Ronaldo.
Yeah, that was a big
so,
hype.
Which
And
everyone was
that
so
obviously
excited to
changed.
see, and then it got taken away.
Instead, it's Messi versus Ronaldo's old club. No, not that one, not Juve.
It was a bit like doing
Messi
one of those
versus
sort of,
Benzema.
bit like doing one of those draft predictors that you get on Footbin, wasn't it? Where you can sort of do a fantasy foot draft and then go into the actual game, and it's like, oh shit, I was misled. I thought I was going to get a great squad like I did on Footbin.
Yeah.
And look at what I got.
Huh?
Yeah, look at it on Footbin, then pay your 15,000 coins and see what you actually get. Yeah.
Actually, talking about predicting and stuff like that, because bookies allow you to like predict the draw. So obviously, if you predicted the
God.
first
Right.
draw correctly, then it gets voided out, doesn't it?
Yeah, so they probably lost loads of money then.
They can afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's never a broke bookie.
In the other sort of leagues, there's a couple big Europa League games. Mainly, you've got Barcelona-Napoli happening. That's huge.
Yeah.
And I actually favour Napoli in that match.
Yeah, I
Barcelona,
would like
mid-table, they drew with Osasuna last night.
They did.
That's
2-2,
awful.
wasn't it, I think?
2-2, yeah. Late goal for Osasuna, but that was an 8th versus 10th match. That's atrocious if you're Barcelona.
Yeah.
So bad.
Yeah. Things have gone to pot.
Dortmund, Rangers.
Yeah, that's another sort of decent clash going on. Leipzig, Sociedad. Sevilla versus Zagreb. Obviously, as a Spurs fan, I know how good Orsic is. Porto versus Lazio. Sheriff versus Braga. So good to see Sheriff have a half chance of getting through to the next stage. And then onto the competition I thought I'd stop caring about, but now there's possibly a loophole that we're still in. Which is... I mean, some of the games in here, you're looking at very minimal stuff. I mean, PSV versus Maccabi Tel Aviv. Great game of football there. Slavia Prague versus Fenerbahce. When you're looking at that as one of the biggest games of the round, you're in trouble. It's not going to be the strongest competition. But yeah, you've got Rapid Vienna versus Tottenham / Vitesse, which honestly, I hope it's Vitesse. I don't want us to worm our way into the competition. It won't be a good look, especially when we go out probably anyway afterwards. But yeah, any standout games for you guys in sort of any of these competitions at the moment?
Can I take this one first? Sorry, guys.
Of course you can.
I don't know a great deal about this, and I'm absolutely... I've, as you can probably tell, people who are watching, I've come straight to this pod from five-a-side, and I've been hydrating, and I'm absolutely desperate for the toilet. So I'm just going to nip out for 2 seconds. And again, people who are watching on video, I'm about to let daylight on a magic here because it looks like I've got a wall behind me. You're about to see it, ain't so? Okay, so I'll be back in a minute. All right, guys?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
all good.
I mean, for me, like Villarreal are probably licking their lips at the fact that they've got Juventus, and Juventus are nowhere near at the peak of their abilities at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not the team they used to be.
Yeah,
sure.
Exactly.
I mean,
So-
I feel like I've been robbed of my favourite match that I was looking forward to. I was looking forward to Inter Milan versus Ajax personally. I think that would have been a great match. But now it's Inter versus Liverpool, which
I think that's going to be incredible,
Still
but I do
good.
think that Liverpool are just so formidable at the moment that I just think they will probably be a bit too much.
Yeah, to be fair, they're probably one of the favourites as well to win the Champions League outright.
I would say so, yeah.
I'd say it's between Bayern or Liverpool personally. In that regard,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know about
so
Bayern.
strong.
Because Bayern are... Bayern are probably one of the favourites, but I don't think Bayern are as, like, stable, like, in their abilities as they have done. Like, they've had a few surprise defeats. Like this weekend, they had to come back from 1-0 down to win 2-1. I just feel like Bayern... Like, a lot of the big old powerhouses, like your Barcelona's, Juventus and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
they're not performing as well as you would expect and stuff. And I feel like Bayern, yes, I feel like they would get to maybe like the semi-finals, but I feel like that's when they'll probably will fall short. Is they'll come up against maybe like a Liverpool, a Chelsea and Man City or something like that. Like I feel like it's English teams are going to get to pretty much the semi-final stages, except for maybe Man United. But like I feel like the favourites are probably Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. Man City, especially if they get a striker, because if they get a striker, I think that they'll definitely be up there in the final.
You think they need a striker?
Yes, they do. But,
yes.
On a separate counterpoint, you talk about Liverpool and all this infamy. Then they needed a penalty to get past Villa. They managed to get a last-minute goal against Wolves for that to look good.
Yeah.
They drew with Brentford. They lost to West Ham. They drew with Brighton. Like, you talk about this so formidable side and then bring up a few minor blips for Bayern, but there's been the same blips at Liverpool in the same regard.
To be fair to Liverpool, they're missing Firmino. That's quite a big deal.
That is quite a big deal,
but I bet against the
I
bigger
also think
teams,
though, as well, this is like Bayern's like first proper year with a brand new defence, like certainly as a centre back partnership. So it's there's I don't necessarily think that when you've had like a same or like similar centre back partnerships the same for however many years that they have, and then suddenly you've now got a completely new defence and things like that. I think things are going to change because you've got to learn again at the back there how people play, what people's style are, where you've got to fill in the gaps and stuff, which they've been used to for a lot of years. But I still think generally just going attacking and their general like holding the ball in midfield, I think they'll dominate most games. I just think it'll be interesting to see a clash between them and Liverpool if it was the final, because I'd like to just see how Liverpool defenders deal with a player like Lewandowski. Just because I think he's there's no one quite like him in the Premier League, is there?
Well, they've done it before, haven't they? They ended up playing, I think, en route to when they actually either won it or as the year before they ended up getting barely past Bayern. I think it was like one goal in it. I could be misremembering this, but if I remember right, it was a close game. I think they may have played in 2018 or 2019 against Lewandowski with a very similar defence to what they have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they could probably handle it. I mean, it would be very interesting it would be an interesting game, but I think a lot of the games, generally speaking, this year are probably going to be interesting anyway, because I think a lot of teams are very similar in ability to each other, and it depends like if they show up on the day as well, and like with COVID as well, you don't know if maybe someone's missing because of being tested positive or something like that. So it's all up in the air. It's going to be very, very, very interesting knockouts anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it might all be played. It might end up being played all behind closed doors. So that plays a massive part in a lot of places. So
in Antarctica or somewhere.
Yeah.
And one last, you talked about Chelsea as well being possible favourites. They're in a bit of a lull at the moment, so I assume you think they'll turn the corner come February, because they've been slipping up a lot recently. In terms of Zenit match happening, which I believe the final was in St. Petersburg. So if they've tripped up that much at Zenit, maybe they won't perform as well in the final if they get that far. Is another way to look at that. We've got the January transfer window as well to come, and it's a couple months' time. Anything can happen between now and then. Like someone like we're saying, like Man City, if they get a striker, then that changes the whole dynamic of Man City. So we will have to wait and see. I think this is definitely something we would have to revisit anyway when it gets to
when we get closer to the
stage.
Yeah, definitely. And who knows, the world might have drastically changed by then as well. So while we talk about, I suppose, real world football, it does lead us to talk about our favourite thing every week, which is always the potential team of the week. I don't know whether you've seen any leak for this already, Steve.
I didn't actually see that much football this weekend either, so I might just take a back seat and chime in with the odd inappropriate comment if that's all right.
Yeah,
that's
not
fine.
a problem. So I tend to always go to my the trusty foot bin for this one. Well, okay, so Team of the Week predictions show the marquee player for this week being 87 rated. Well, rating wise, sorry, it would be technically Courtois, but 87 rated Barella. So another inform for him. It's then got Tielemans for Leicester, Angelino for Leipzig, Rudiger. So a nice 85 rated inform for him. Another inform for Atal, which sees him go from 81 to 84. A lot of people will be in favour of that card, given his links in the game with, I suppose, Mahrez, Benrahma. There's a lot of others. Like I think Delort's got a nice card this year, even though it is just an inform. But there's a few nice Algerian links in the game this year. Courtois, obviously, like I say, 90 rated as a goalkeeper. We've then got a 85 Nick Pope. Whether he's not the Nick Pope of previous year, but he is, his 85 could still make a difference. And I know that like Mendy is kind of taking his position as the man to struggle to beat. And then we've got Mandy, another Algerian, Boulaya, another Algerian, Batshuayi's picked up an inform. I think I saw that Gallagher from Crystal Palace was rumoured or as a potential for the featured team of the week, which would look quite nice as an 83 rated card. But yeah, it's sort of again a sort of, I suppose, semi lackluster team of the week, being that the most expensive and best card there is probably going to be Barella and maybe equally then Atal. Man City wise, I mean, they didn't really, based on the game, deserve to have, I guess, anybody to stand out, get a team of the week from that game. Also, did any of you guys see the incident in that game?
In which game, sorry?
Man City Wolves.
The penalty.
The red card incident.
Ooh.
No, I haven't.
No.
Okay, so Raul Jimenez, he...
Oh, no, I did, yeah, 2 double yellows.
Yeah, he commits a foul, obviously doesn't agree with it, but instead of just getting on with it, it's so early in the game, decides to be really petulant and stand in front of the ball and not allow them to take their free kick, and then for his sins gets given a second yellow card. Now, I don't...
actively blocked it.
He
just stand in front of it,
it.
he kicked it, and he actively stuck a leg out and blocked it.
Yeah, he stuck a leg out and then even tried to sort of like almost start continuing play. Now, they said in, like, I watched match the day afterwards or in the evening, and they kind of said that they thought the referee was rubbish that game anyway. But generally in that scenario, like, what are players thinking?
Well, I mean, you could argue the ball's in play at that point and he's tried to actively intercept a pass. But
he is like 2 yards in front of it, which they have to be at least
a certain distance.
Yeah. I think it's like
I haven't seen the
5
incident, but you've got to assume that he knew what he was doing under those circumstances, right?
Yeah, he let
It's dead on half time as well. Dead on half time.
He let his petulance basically get in the way of basically just carrying on with the game. He let his pettiness, and then as he walked off, applauded his fans, which was really, like, I don't know if that was an ironic thing or what. I mean, they looked like they were applauding back, and that was certainly felt with some irony. But yeah, it's crazy from that. Arsenal, Mers will be happy that obviously they got a result, a nice 3-0 win. Surprised to not see a team of the week player from Arsenal.
Well, to be fair, on another prediction, I have seen Odegaard as a predicted team of the week, but
that would make sense. Yeah.
I've got him on my one. I've got up here.
Tierney could be a good one as well.
Odegaard in FUT, just to interject there, sorry, but if you need a low-rated Premier League team at any time, Odegaard in FUT is a slept-on card. I had him in my starter squad, so yeah, managerial masterpiece. Just saying. Sorry.
Okay.
Good to know. I mean, I packed his What If last year as a part of the first episode of my series, and that was a card I did like. Obviously, I'm not the biggest 5-star skiller in the world, but it's a decent card from when I used it.
But even without the 5-star skills, solid. Trust me.
Again, Chelsea. I mean, Rudiger was incredible that game, but Jorginho obviously gets 2 penalties, takes him in the style that he does, and the guy is something like 34 out of 38. That's an incredible ratio of conversions of penalties. Liverpool scraping the 1-0 win against Aston Villa with their penalty. So no one getting an inform from there. Man United scraping their win against Norwich, and that was a scrape because that was probably, I would say, it was a fairly soft penalty. You can't put your hands on someone and not expect to get a decision, but it was definitely a soft penalty.
Before you move it, sorry to butt in all over the place.
It's all right.
No, it's fine.
Did you see the tweet that went round? I think it's from Bleacher Report, where they took a photograph of a section of Norwich fans, or alleged Norwich fans. Yeah, with their phones out, videoing the Cristiano Ronaldo celebration, and you're thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How many of those are tourists that aren't Norwich fans?
Yeah.
And thankfully, there was a little lad right in the front, full Norwich regalia, and he was giving it the full 2 fingers, all the way there. So
and someone else was doing another gesture. I saw too. There's a guy further back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen that. It's
kind of an interesting thing, isn't it? Because you're either thinking, right, so those fans there, are they just excited because it's their like only chance in their career that they're ever going to get to see Ronaldo up close and personal? But also, are they actually Norwich fans, like you say? Like, are these people that are just managed to get a ticket or decided to get a ticket that day because they want to see Ronaldo and not Norwich fans? And then does that mean that there weren't enough Norwich season ticket holders or Norwich fans to fill the stadium?
I'm a Sunderland fan, I know Norwich from days of old, and trust me, they don't have that many fucking fans.
No.
Well, one of them's sort of there right now. In Brad.
I live here,
right?
But I don't.
Yeah.
By association.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I support them. So, but yeah. Then we've got Leicester smashing Newcastle. It's kind of a little bit sad for Eddie Howe, in my opinion. In point of fact, if before Newcastle or had their money, if we could have picked any manager to have taken us down and back up again, I'd have wanted to have chosen Eddie Howe, not Dean Smith.
He'll do well at getting you out of the Championship. I mean, there's some consolation there.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Eddie Howe, though, last time he was going to get relegated to the Championship, he just quit. At least with Newcastle, he's got an incentive to stay with all the money. But he quit before he hit the Championship with Bournemouth, remember? So would he want to be there with Norwich to bring them back up? Would he have been interested, is the question.
There's got to be a reason.
Because why would he leave Bournemouth otherwise, considering he'd been with Bournemouth for so long? Would he join a different side just to take on a...
He was a victim of his own success, wasn't he, really, at Bournemouth?
Yes. I think he left Bournemouth more because he felt like he couldn't do much more with them. So it was more like, okay, I don't feel I can help Bournemouth anymore, so I'm stepping down and just taking a break. That's what I understand, because obviously Cobra, being a Bournemouth fan, I think that's what he said it was all about and stuff. So if a hardcore Bournemouth fan saying that, then I'll go with that.
Do you think that he took it on knowing that he would be managing the club this season, certainly with a noose around his neck, a little bit loose but tightening as the season goes on? But I'm thinking, if I can get through this, if I can just somehow keep them up and cling on to this job next year when the money really does come and it's a factor, do you think that's what he was thinking? Or
yeah, but he's not. He was like the third or fourth choice manager anyway, so I think it was a case of, okay, they've got nobody else, I'll just take it on a little bit. Do
you also think that he really thinks that when the money has been there for a couple of years and they've managed to expand their squad to get some of the players that will be available to them, that he's going to be the manager to do it?
I wouldn't. If I was a big name player, I wouldn't be turned on by the idea of going to play for Eddie Howe, to be honest with you.
No, and that's what's going to happen, isn't it? They'll probably, out of this current team, you're probably looking at St. Maximin might be the only one that survives. and this team will massively evolve over the next few years. But when it starts to get to the point when they want to really start looking at some of the big name stars, there's no way it's going to be Eddie Howe that's at the helm. They need somebody else who, like you say, not only is going to take them to that next level with that team, but also is going to know what to do with them. Because there's no point in, it's not like playing Championship Manager, is it? Like,
No.
It's you're going to need someone who's actually been there with those criteria players that are getting paid that money. Because let's face it, we're going to see some of the highest wages paid to some of those players that we'll ever see in football, and you're going to have to make them. You still got to make them work for their money. They can't just go to Newcastle and think, right, I'm going to get paid £1 million a week just to sit here and have a laugh. Like they're going to expect huge things out of this team, and in order to do that, you still need a huge manager. And Eddie Howe isn't manager, is he?
But it's not just that as well. I mean, I don't want to unload on Newcastle. Far be it from me as a Sunderland fan to do that. But
yeah,
you're warm. Go for it.
You're more qualified than anyone else.
People in glass houses can't throw stones and whatever. I'm very much aware of that. But it's not just Eddie Howe. He's got his trusty sidekick there, Jason Tindall, and Jason Tindall was a plodder in the lower leagues, and I don't know at the moment how he's looking guys like Alan St Maximin in the eye and saying that it's good, but you need to release that ball a bit quicker, and you're not quite moving. Dart a little more. Alan St Maximin must be looking at him going, "Who the f are you?"
Yeah.
The thing is with with Newcastle. Looking back at Bournemouth as an example, Eddie Howe was quite irresponsible with some of his spending, so giving him the biggest budget in the world, when he was willing to spy the likes of Jordan Ibe for an extortionate price, the likes of Dominic Solanke. I mean, he brought in a couple of good players. Like he brought in Nathan Ake, who was good for them, but like a fair few of his dealings can be seen as a bit dodgy, a bit when he starts to spend the big money, at least.
Do you think that he'll have as much say in the signings as he wants?
Puppet.
For their sake, I hope they don't.
Not to say that, we've got another necessarily Abramovich on our hands, but he's well known to have not necessarily let managers have what they want, and he has his say on who comes to the club. Like, if they've got him in as a gap fill for this season, and then they're going to start to look to spend the money, do they really let someone like him decide where that money goes?
No, but I don't think they're exactly going to go and sign Anderson Talisca because he plays in the Saudi League either.
No.
So, I mean, the ideal signing I want them to do, just because, it gets him off our books, is Dele Alli. He's free in January. Not free, but he's free to leave in January currently. Someone like him, maybe a Harry Winks, just bring them in. I'll gladly see them go. Please.
And pay like 500 million.
Please. I mean, 500 million's outrageous. Yeah. I'd love that. But even like 20 million for some of them at that point, like their values are plummeting.
I've heard that Jack Rodwell hasn't settled in Australia. Maybe they could take him back.
If they can take Granit Xhaka off our hands as well,
there you go.
That would be great.
There's going to be a few of these scenarios.
Maybe Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. You never know. There you go. Aubameyang could be one they could offload. Especially with his antics this week.
Yeah, that's a good one to lead on to. What? So has anyone actually seen officially what it is that he's done?
Yes, so, he went to Barcelona to get a tattoo, basically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what I'd heard.
Okay.
I heard that as well.
Okay. I mean, this again goes back to what are people doing? What is going on?
As a club captain as well, bear in mind, he's done that as the club captain.
The guy to set an example. Yeah. It's crazy.
I want to give a plug for a podcast that's not foot related at all. I mean, we've moved on to actual football here, but there's an excellent podcast out there which most people aren't aware of. It's Craig Levine, the ex-Scotland Hearts Leicester manager.
Okay.
And they have different guests on each week. It's called Sacked in the Morning. It's a BBC Scotland thing. And they had Tony Pulis on the other week, and he was talking about Ricardo Gardner, the ex-Stoke City player, and the shenanigans that these players get up to, when they're not supposed to be, they're supposed to be at training doing this, that and the other, and what they get away with is great insight. Definitely recommend it. Sacked in the Morning. Check it out if you're pod fans.
Okay. I'd be interested to know what you talk about with Serge Gnabry these days, obviously. So there's an interesting story of him and Pulis. because I believe he was on loan at the time to West Brom.
Oh, right.
Was that Pulis?
I've no
I
idea.
feel that was Pulis.
You're ahead of me there.
I know he went to West Brom for certain, did Gnabry, and was barely used when he was on loan from Arsenal before he went to Hoffenheim and the likes in the Bundesliga. So it'd be interesting if there's anything. If it was Pulis, it could be completely wrong, but something tells me it is. So it'd be interesting to know about that if that's the case.
It probably wasn't capable of getting on the end of a long ball as Tyler would have liked him to, perhaps.
Nah, wouldn't shock me in that case. Couldn't do the lap throw.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But I mean, it is a lackluster team of the week. It's another reason to not play FUT champs and not really commit to playing the game. And I did allude to this at the start, and the guys hopefully have seen the video by now of what is wrong with this game.
Yes, indeed.
If you haven't seen it, you need to go and check out the latest. Well, it won't be the latest at this point. So go and check out the Advent Calendar Squad Builder Showdown version that was on It's James channel, and go to the 40th minute and just watch what happens as Allison comes out and does what I can only recall as, if you ever played Street Fighter 2, Ken and Ryu used to do a move called the Ayukin, which was like an uppercut.
Sure.
And yeah, you should see it. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And I played my qualifications games this week to try and see if I could qualify for FUT champs, and I had more misplaced passes, because it's just a thing, more terrible player switching than I've ever seen in the game, and it's just beyond a joke now that like we're getting not just the bad gameplay, but we're also getting lackluster promos, and it does feel like we said at the start when we saw that there weren't many gaps in between the promos, that EA are just basically taking this final year to try and take as much of our money as they can before the inevitable happens at the end of the year, and the game changes or evolves or becomes whatever it's going to become. But yeah, let's shall we get on to the Q&A section?
Yeah, let's get on to the Q&A section.
It's back.
I think we need to bring up last week's Q&A just briefly here about the Pizzagate Chocolate Gate, and the fruit and nut situation. So we put up a poll on the Twitter account. 8 people voted. It finished off. I put up 3 options. So it was God tier, all right, no, it's not God tier. So it finished 3 votes to it's God tier, 3 votes to it's all right, 2 votes to it's not God's tier. Now we've got a 9th vote right now with Steve. He's gonna cast his vote. He hasn't revealed to us what he's gonna vote, so he's kept it a secret until now. So can you just quickly, before I carry on with this, what is your actual vote? Is it God tier, not God tier? Is it all right? What are you saying?
It's kind of borderline God tier, isn't it? It's
yeah.
It's more than all right. It's
yes, Steve.
Decent.
No. You're not meant to help him out here. You're not meant to help him out.
There's a caveat.
In his argument here.
There's a caveat.
Right? Hang on, hold up.
It's all right, but it's not Lidl's chili dark chocolate.
Well, this is a new one.
Chili chocolate.
I mean, no, chili
chocolate's
chocolate's good. I'll stand with chili chocolate more than with fruit and nut.
Of course, it's more fattening.
As an outright
chocolate.
As an outright option to say my favourite chocolate bar is insert chocolate bar here, the last thing I think I'd say is fruit and nut.
Hang on, that was actually a real option. Insert chocolate bar here.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
There was a famous incident in rock and roll history with the Rolling Stones and Marianne Faithfull. Google it, where she did very much insert a chocolate bar there. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
Brad wanted to make it.
I don't like the fruit and nut that much.
To make it like a resounding victory for himself, he argued that all it's all right voters should be split 50-50, because apparently 50% of them would think it's God tier and 50% of them would think it's not God tier. I don't know how that logical. How that makes logical sense.
I said 50% are in favour of it and 50% aren't in favour of it. So if you were just asking as to whether it is, nearer to being favoured as a good chocolate bar as opposed to it being not favoured to being a good chocolate bar, then more people favoured it.
Well, I'm changing my vote now because I voted it's all right, and I'm now voting it's not God tier because I think it's all right. Like
So basically, what you're saying is you screwed your own vote here.
I
didn't even know this. I thought
basically.
No, you screwed your own vote here, my friends. How did?
Yeah.
No.
No, I've screwed it
God.
up. It is, but it's just not God tier. Right? We're settling it. I'm saying right now, I'm settling it. It's not God tier. Right, okay.
So you settled it.
I'm saying that, as our guest said, and we want to be respectful to him, that he said it's closer to God tier than not. Then I'm taking that as a win.
Well,
so that's fine.
It's just not. His opinion is invalid.
The controversy. Yeah.
Jesus.
My opinion's what?
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty certain Girk didn't vote in said poll, and he said it was awful afterwards. So if we're going outside the parameters, he found out on my stream after the poll had ended, and then launched a tirade on Twitter. So if we're taking outside votes, that's another one for awful.
No, my opinion's invalid. Sorry, guys.
I didn't go that far. I didn't go that far. But if we're including outside votes,
and that's the first and last time you'll see Steve on the podcast. Thanks,
it's all good. It's all in good jest. Right.
It's not got it. I still can't believe that's your favourite chocolate bar ever.
Yeah.
Of all the hundreds of combinations.
Then a close second is Ferrero Rocher.
My life. I might walk off.
Ferrero Rocher, I like that. I'll happily take because that has complexities. It's a lot more complex in flavour than a fruit and nut bar. So definitely have that up in terms of the leaderboard than a fruit and nut for like best chocolate. But in terms of the Q&A, we had a couple questions submitted. We've already covered like the Champions League, so I won't go into depth with that question. But the other one, which I find interesting, which is about Derby County. So obviously, Derby County this season have been in financial ruin. They've had points deducted. So basically, the question is saying, so Derby won this weekend, but considering the situation they are in, do you guys think they are relegated already, or do you think they stand a chance of staying up? And will Rooney be sacked soon or not? So what do you guys think?
So my take on this is I think they still do have a chance. I don't think Rooney will be sacked. That's my take. They've got results against the top two in the league. If they can get results against the top two in the league, they can pick them up elsewhere. They've taken a 21-point deduction, I believe.
Yes, it was.
And they're already sitting on positive 4 points. So
they would technically be 18th.
They would be 18th, there or thereabouts. They'd be above it actually in goal difference. They'd be sitting as high as 15th, based on their goal difference.
No, they'd have 25 points, wouldn't they?
Does they have 25 points?
Yeah,
they would have 25 points.
So they'd be sitting at 19th.
Very true. Yeah, they would be sitting 19th. When you said 18th, I was like, looking at that, comparing to everyone who's on 27. They'd be sitting 19th, which would be above the relegation zone, importantly. But they'll still be there.
Yeah.
And I could see them sticking out there, especially these results they're putting out. There's no reason to be... If they're playing results like they are, there's no reason to fire Rooney. Rooney's got this team playing fairly well. They're still sticking in there. They're not forlorn yet. They're actually only 9 points behind the next team, which is Barnsley.
Wow.
It's going to be a tough one, but I think they could possibly stay up still. They're not fully gone.
Yeah, I think to be 9 points behind a team when you've had a minus 21 point deduction, I think that's incredible. I do wonder if it's just a bit too much of a feat. We are now dead on halfway through the season in that league. I don't know. I wonder if 17 more points behind Reading to get out of the relegation zone. They've got to finish the second half of the season essentially 3 wins better than they've started. It's tough. I don't know. In terms of Rooney being sacked, I don't think you can. I think like if you look at that and say this is where they're at, like they can potentially get out of this given the deficit at the start. I can't see how you can sack him.
Who do you think's in a better career position right now, Frank Lampard or Wayne Rooney?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
Based off of what he's doing and with the resources he's got, Rooney's proving himself to be fairly good. Obviously, Lampard's, I mean, he had a free hit at Chelsea for the first season and he delivered fairly well. Second season, less so much. And when he's at Derby, he had the foundations of a good team before they were financially hit, etc., and were in deep trouble. But he also had the benefit of the Chelsea loan system, which I don't believe Rooney's got any real players in from United. I could be wrong on that front.
And he cheated and left Rooney with a bunch of crap to clean up, didn't he? Technically.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Rooney straight away, was it? I think it was an interim.
No, you're right, actually, yeah.
Person anyway, but
right.
Either way, yeah, there was a little interim, but even then, they weren't in a good state. I think Rooney's going to probably be more on a sort of slow burn in the same way that John Terry, I think, would probably be a better manager than Frank Lampard, in the sense that he's doing a lot of developing under Dean Smith at Villa, etc. He's still sort of learning on the job. He's planning on taking as much in from as many different managers. And in possibly 5-10 years' time, as far as I understand, that's what John Terry plans on doing.
Yeah.
Then getting into management and then trying to build up from there. Separate, gone slightly down a different path, but I do think Rooney's probably actually the more attractive sort of manager at the moment.
In terms of the CV, I can't help but feel that Lampard benefits quite a lot from his public school background. I mean, he talks a very good game, doesn't he, Frank? Whereas you put Rooney in front of a camera and it's just like, no, I told him to, just try and get behind a bit more. And Lampard's going to he'll give you the full Eddie Hearn sort of like, spiel, won't he? And he talks a good game.
I mean, so going back to that John Terry thing, though, I think that Lampard took that Chelsea job far too early in his career. That John Terry got asked the same question on the golf course with Chubbs, and it said, if that job comes up, would you take it? And he said, not a chance. He said, I won't be taking that job until I'm in my role for 10 years. So John Terry has got this clear career path of working under some experienced managers for 10 years before he considers taking that sort of job. And I think that's the way to go. That's the way to develop. I think for that reason, like I say, given their 21-point deficit, I think you got to stick with Rooney at the moment. And you're not going to get him in front of camera and think, necessarily I'm fully convinced that this guy's the manager for this club. But you're not going to get that whether he's in front of the microphone for Derby or in front of the microphone for Barcelona. It's just it's just going to be how he comes across, unfortunately. But what he does in the dressing room, what he does for the players on the pitch is the most important thing. And so far, like we say, they'd be sitting 19th, given given where they've been left at. I don't think that's too bad.
No, me neither. I'm looking at some of their earlier games in the season, and that's where they started tripping up against Hull. They lost to Hull. They lost to Peterborough. They lost to Barnsley. These are all teams around them that they picked up points in that time period. If they start winning them games, that's points earned back on those teams. Yeah, and that will help them get back towards it. As I say, it's going to be touch and go whether they actually do it. It'd be very dramatic. It would be
an incredible feat, wouldn't it?
I mean, I think it'd be fitting if that's one of the last things that Jeff Stanley ever commentates over on Gillette Soccer Saturday. That'd be incredible. Yeah. Sort of one of the final moments, if there's a dramatic moment at Derby, whether they stay up or not. But I can see them hanging in there. Whether they go down maybe 2 or 3 games from the end, maybe, but it'd be a very nice story if they do stay up.
Yeah. Well, I hope that satisfies you, GH, with the whole Derby County talk right there. No food questions from GH, which is a bit different, but
a festive question from me.
Yeah, you've got apparently a controversial question.
Well, it's going to be controversial based on your answers. So I'll start with Steve because he's the first guest. Steve, what is your favourite Christmas movie?
My favourite Christmas... I'm showing my age here, I suppose.
Go.
Oh, yeah.
My favourite Christmas... I don't know. There's
I know
one
what the
sort of that
controversial
well
answer is.
predates. I've got to choose one.
Not necessarily
Yeah.
one, but you can name a couple. But
You see,
I'm looking to cause controversy, is what I'm saying.
what
I think I know
what
your
you're gonna
answer.
say. I know. I expect I know what you're going to say, Brad. Now.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I'm thinking the same wavelength already.
Okay.
Yeah.
what I would call modern is what you guys would most certainly not call modern, and that would be planes, trains, and automobiles.
Oh yeah.
Which
Okay.
you've probably never seen. I don't know.
I have.
I've heard of
actually,
it. I
yeah.
haven't seen it, but I've heard.
Yeah, it's a sort of odd buddy movie, I suppose, with Steve Martin in it. I'm a big fan of Steve Martin.
And it's got the other guy who's in a movie I'm waiting for someone to mention as well, weirdly, as well.
Right.
Which I'll get onto in a second.
That kind of gives it away a little bit. But the absolute ultimate all-time classic Christmas movie is It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart, about the guy who, no spoilers, but he's having a pretty rough time of it, and he's it's over Christmas, and he's visited by an interesting character who shows him another side to life, quite uplifting, and I'd recommend that if you want something a little bit different, but also Home Alone.
Home Alone's classic.
Yeah.
Not a Christmas movie.
Certainly not Love
What?
Actually. Balls to Love Actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you just say Home Alone's not a Christmas movie?
Yeah, Home Alone's not a Christmas movie. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay.
Here comes the controversy.
Interesting.
Here's comes the
It's-
controversy. Yeah.
If it happens around Christmas, it's a Christmas movie. That's all I'm gonna say. So
Die
there
Hard,
you go.
Christmas
I disagree.
movie.
About to say Die Hard's the
Exactly.
one that everyone's
No.
waiting to say.
That's
Die
what I was
Hard's the
expecting
one that's
Brad
on
to
everyone's
say.
mouth.
No,
Yeah.
Die Hard I think is clear cut, not a Christmas movie. I think the more controversial one is Home Alone.
I was fully expecting Die Hard to be the hill you'd absolutely ironically die on.
If it snows, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
If
if it
it's
happens
the-
around
if the snow.
Christmas. If it happens around Christmas and it's snowing, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
That's my
Um,
wife's
so
downstairs to weigh in
Die-
as well,
yeah,
saying
Die
Home
Hard
Alone's a
is
Christmas
definitely
movie.
on the list of the best Christmas movies of all time.
No, I mean,
if we're going for traditional Christmas movies, then Jingle All the Way, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger
Arnie.
and his double and all.
Yes,
yeah.
definitely got to be.
That is
Jingle.
that is
Cheese,
a great one.
cheese fest. Just you can quote things like it, like put the cookie down.
No,
Yes, that is great.
I need
like
that
Elf
double
as well.
mandol.
Elf
I mean-
and Jingle All the Way.
That sounded a
Jingle
lot
All
like
the Way's
Toto Wolff, actually, topically.
No, Tommy.
No,
not
Michael.
Tommy. Fuck Tom,
No.
Tommy. No, Michael. No. This is not right.
So my personal favourites are Elf. I love
Yeah.
Elf.
Mhm.
I think it's
Classic,
brilliant.
yeah.
And Miracle on 34th Street. Just because it's one that just growing up it would be the one that I always watched every Christmas with my mum. Like it was
It's
always
the
that
soppy one
one
my mum
Christmas
always-
film that was like, it was the one to watch. The Christmas miracle of trying to prove that Santa was real in court and stuff. I just loved it. I thought it was really nice.
That's
But yeah.
fair. The soppy one my mum used to love was Miracle on 34th Street, which
Yeah.
you describe it as one to watch. Yeah, worthless. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
You want controversy? I'll give you controversy.
I just I don't think that because a film is set at Christmas time, it makes it a Christmas movie.
Right.
Die Hard 2.
No, not a Christmas film.
Die
there's
Hard and
plenty
Home
of
Alone
snow.
are Christmas. Yeah, there we go. Go on. Here we go, Brad.
So
Yeah,
it needs to be about Christmas in terms of so it needs to be about Santa, or it needs to be about kind of yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Not just at the fact that at that time a family decided to neglect their child and leave him at home while they. I mean, the real Christmas movie in that film would have been what would have actually happened if they'd have made it on holiday as a family, and then that was a movie. The movie is not
Child
at
services,
home.
that sort of thing.
Yeah. Not the movie is not what was happening at home when a child was left alone to try and defend his house to burglars. That is a very different movie.
Well, it's better than the new Home Alone 4, whatever it is that they've released on Disney Plus.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
I remember
God.
Home Alone.
That-
Home Alone
yeah.
4. I remember being a thing back in the mid 2000s, and that was a corny mess where they recast a whole bunch of people. I think they even got the character wrong. If I remember Home Alone 4 right as a kid. They ended up switching the name of the Wet Bandits round, and one of them returned, and it was the one with the wrong name. And you're like,
sequels after sequels or remakes are just they're painful sometimes, aren't they?
But it's what makes the money pretty much for Hollywood, unfortunately.
Exactly. Sequels after sequels, they keep getting worse, and sadly FIFA will not be renewing for another year.
Fast forward 30 years where we've got a gender neutral Kevin in a Home Alone remake.
It's
coming.
It's
coming.
I mean,
yeah.
On that note,
so it didn't turn out to be a controversial question after all.
No, it did in the Home Alone parts, whether it's a Christmas movie, the whole thing.
Yeah, it would divide people's opinion on what is classed as a Christmas movie and not, but it's a whatever everyone takes it as, really. I don't think it necessarily has to have Father Christmas in, because then it limits what is a Christmas. Well, you got like if you go on the Christmas channel, I don't think many of the Christmas channel movies probably have Father Christmas in. They're mainly soppy romantic films, aren't they?
I'm not saying like he has to be in it as a cameo for it to be that movie. I'm just saying that it needs to be actually about the things of Christmas, not a child defending his home whilst being left alone by his family.
Let's raise the stakes here a little bit, okay? Let's a little bit more highbrow. People generally tend to take the Dickensian novels like A Christmas Carol and what have you as being great Christmas stories.
Yeah.
There's no mention of Santa Claus in that, because Santa Claus basically wasn't invented in the West at that point. So
it's true. It is just snowing and nothing more.
Yeah.
Brad, thoughts?
Well, I mean,
it's a Christmas Carol, not Christmas. It's in the name.
If you've watched it, you'll know that I think one of the
we're not talking about the Muppets version here either, by the way.
No, I mean we can do.
Oh, okay, all right. No, well, then I haven't seen the original.
I was about to say this is about a man who's. This is about a man who keeps getting attacked by ghosts. That doesn't sound Christmassy, does it?
It's dark. Very dark.
It's very dark, but
I mean, in the Muppet Christmas Carol, one of them looks exactly like Chris Father Christmas.
Has anybody? I'm going off on a tangent here slightly, but you guys are aware of Chew Boy, right? The
yes.
Have you noticed how much he sounds like Kermit the Frog?
No,
just me.
No, but I'm going to listen.
Check it out. Honestly, trust me. Check it out.
Oh
hey,
dear.
Chew Boy.
I'm definitely going to have to have a listen.
Oh dear, this is the way to end the podcast, I feel, with the thoughts of Chew Boy apparently being Kermit the Frog.
And that's all now Googling any audio of him.
Dear.
But I feel like that is the end of the Q&A. Right, so guys, thank you for listening to this podcast. So as always, make sure to go and drop each of us a follow, and obviously this week, because we've got the guest, make sure to check out the guest's links and all his socials and channels and stuff like that, and checking out the Footballers podcast as well. So all the links, I will make sure to put those down below in the description, so feel free to check those out. Thank you, Steve, for being on this episode of the podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it and given your opinions and having maybe a different change of scenery for once.
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Genuinely, it's breath of fresh air. It's always good to talk about FIFA, but to get different perspectives and that, and to include the actual football chat as well. It's good.
Yes,
a bit more chaos.
Yeah, good.
Bit more chaos. Yeah, fruit and nut plus Christmas plus other stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's a good mix every week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No,
content-wise for the FSB creators, we've got a juicy episode of Foot Eliminator to look out for. Make sure to check that out on Thursday.
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Oh, you're releasing it early. Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wednesday, and there might be a reason, and you'll find it out if you watch the video.
Yeah, watch it.
It's around Claude Maurice as well, the fire version.
Yes.
The fire version, because the ice version wasn't out at the time.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Although I'm shocked that EA didn't mess that up, to be fair.
Yeah.
then we will have the bonus draft builder on Saturday. So maybe is there going to be another giveaway in the bonus draft builder? Who knows? Who knows? Because we haven't recorded it yet. So we'll be recording that after we've done with the recording of the podcast. So, you know, make sure to watch that on Saturday because you never know. You never know because, well, the main person who's been doing the giveaways at the moment anyway has been myself. But
only person at the moment doing giveaways,
only
let's be
person
honest.
at the moment. Yes, yes, that is true.
I normally enjoy a good discard of Fabian Delph or an Inform. And Brad just doesn't lose. So
the bad doesn't lose.
As an outsider, Mers is very much the person who glues this entire operation together. So that's what he told me anyway when he was on football.
Oh, is that what he told you?
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Interesting.
I'm the bread and butter of the community.
This is why he's the one that provides the FIFA points then.
Yeah.
He's the middleman.
I've got little back dealings with all these sponsors that you don't know about, basically, that I've dealt with for the FSB, you know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't feel so bad anymore then.
I'm secretly selling coins and stuff like that on the side enterprise, and got like all these little plugs that Brad has been doing. Like Cadbury spoke to me. It was like, yeah, we've had Cadbury's dairy milk, fruit and nut sales have gone through the roof the past week. So here's a cut of the sales, and I was like, yeah, I'll happily take that.
Enter code Mersgoth for a free Cadbury's mini egg.
I've seen a couple of eggs get smashed on Mer's head, but they weren't mini eggs.
They definitely
the old callback.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, we love that.
I haven't had that.
Sadly,
in a
it's
while
not a
because I
thing
got rid
anymore.
of that. So maybe in the future I might bring that back as a forfeit. Who knows? Who knows?
Nothing was better than when EA themselves paid to have eggs smashed on your head. That is peak. EA absolutely ruining you there.
They did.
Giving you money, but absolutely ruining
eggs in that situation. But yeah, it was a lot of eggs smashed on my head. I felt like I might have had a mini concussion after all of the eggs that got smashed on my head.
I've seen your gameplay. It probably was.
It was, yeah. But no, I'll probably just go and speak to Steve. He's going to coach me. He's going to guide me to stardom so I can win heated head-to-head and FUT Eliminator with and budget builder face-off with ease from now on. So keep your eyes peeled, guys. But thank you.
I've got to put my push for Elite. It's got to get one more division.
But yeah, thank you all for being on this podcast, and I guess we'll see you all in the next episode. Bye bye, guys.
Cheers, guys.
See you guys. Peace out.